Hey there. Sorry, I totally forgot to do this before. There we go. All right. Hello, welcome. I'm not sure what we've got here. So far, nobody. Hopefully we get a few people chiming in here shortly. Give people... Oh, I'm going to get some feedback here. I apologize for that. There we go. Okay. Trying to get everything set up here. I'm not a fast learner, so excuse me one moment here. Let's drink that over. And if my computer will work. There we go. All right, got everything set up. So yeah, if you are on I would love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on the game. And I will we'll have some few talking points since we actually have a game that we watched today. A couple things though, little housekeeping things. Sorry, I know this typing sound is annoying as hell, but we're gonna deal with it for right now. But this is actually one of the housekeeping things I wanted to address. So that is looking for some other people who want to help out, who want to get involved in this. If this is something you want to be a part of, whether that's joining in here on the actual chat, having someone that I can talk to, I definitely could use that. If you just want to be someone monitoring the chat so you can kind of help us interact there, but you don't want to actually be on camera, that's fine. I got some other video stuff I'm wanting to do, and I could really use help with that. Everything from doing stuff on camera to behind the cameras to editing, social media stuff. I mean, it's not going to be this big production, but there's a few things. I mean, they're not that hard, but I don't have the time to do them all myself. So if that's something you want to be a part of, please just let me know, and we'll find out something. We'll get a way to get you involved. So the other thing you may have noticed, if you have checked out any of these videos before, is that there has been a name change. This is no longer History and Blood. I've now officially changed the name to STLFC Fan TV. Nothing really complicated about that change. I still love the name History and Blood. It's a good name, but it just makes it a little hard to find us, I think. It makes it a little too confusing for people just to stumble across the site or stumble across the videos. And you can have people winding up here looking for a video about the Western Front and World War II or something. But this hopefully will make it a little bit easier for everyone to know what this is about, what they're kind of getting into. So that's what it is. Just a simple name change to make it a little more obvious, a little more clear as to what the channel's all about. So far nobody's in the chat yet. But we do have a game that happened tonight as our first preseason game against the Ottawa Fury. Thankfully, we actually did get to watch it, which I was surprised when I found out. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought this was going to be something we'd have to maybe at best get a Twitter feed going about, or maybe a Facebook Live. But we actually got a pretty high quality stream for free. It was great. I really enjoyed it. They did a great job with it, even if they were confused as to whether or not Chad Bond was on the field. But all in all, it was good, and it was nice to finally get that chance to really see the guys, because I'm not able to make it out to the practices. So for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, this is the first chance we have to see most of these players. I mean, this is a very new team, and that's one of the things I really I one of the things I really want to address is the fact that this is a new team. There are most of the guys I don't know. I don't recognize them. Now the guys we had before, certainly, guys who've been there a while or guys who had come on but were impact players. I mean, I knew who they were. They were easy to spot, easy to identify. A lot of these new guys, I'm struggling. I'm looking up stuff online trying to figure out, like, wait, who was that? Who just passed that? Who's this guy? So it's going to take some time getting to know these guys. And yeah, some of them have names that are hard to pronounce, and that might make it a little bit harder. Hopefully we get some nicknames for these guys. I'm sure we will. But that will make things a little bit easier, at least I would imagine. So but the one thing, we talked about the previous show was hoping that there would be some consistency going forward and that these guys would not be guys we see for a season and then they're gone and we never see half the team again. Hopefully we're looking at a core of players that we're going to see, for a few years at least, guys we can really, get attached to and not regret getting attached to because they're here one year, then they're just gone the next. So, so that's kind of my, the first thing that really struck me watching the game was trying to get used to these new players. Some of the guys like Seth Rudolph, he's around. I recognize him on the field, but he had a new number. He was 91 last year. A lot of that I'm sure had to do with coming in late. That he didn't have a option of the number he really wanted. So he coming in this year, I'm assuming he got a much earlier pick on his number. Still a little strange pick 2. Usually something you reserve for fullbacks and defenders, not someone who's really more of an attacking winger. But I'm sure he has his reasons, and that's great, man. Whatever. But at least now we know what it is. It'll be easy to spot him. But he's a guy we know already, so that's not going to be a major issue, I don't think. So I guess time to go on and talk about the game itself. Yes, we lost, but nobody cares. I mean, honestly, if you're upset about the loss, then I really don't know what to tell you. It's a preseason game. It's like a preseason game. It's the first time these guys really had a chance to play together competitively. They don't know each other. They're getting used to each other. For the most part, they're still trying to find fitness. So it is not at all surprising to lose. And we're playing against Team Ottawa. And not only is this a team that theoretically is coming down from the second division to play in the new second division. So you could make the argument that they should be a better team than us. They've been playing at a higher division than we've been playing at, and we weren't very good in the division we're playing at. So it makes sense that they would be a better team than us. But what's more important is that these are guys who they've been together. This isn't, I don't know exactly how much roster turnover, but it's not going to be nearly the type of roster turnover that we're dealing with. So it's not at all surprising that they beat us. Again, it's preseason. We don't care about the results. We care about their performance. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the performance. And again, if you're on and you have some questions or some comments, there were guys you really liked, guys you thought maybe didn't live up to what you were hoping for, let me know, and we can see what, talk about those guys and give our thoughts on them. But overall, there weren't a ton of individual performances that really stood out huge for me, but there were certainly some general things about the performance. First thing I have to say, especially in the, we had the 3 30-minute periods instead of the 2 halves. A little weird, but, again, preseason's trying to rest guys, give other guys time. I don't have a problem with it. Now, the one thing I did notice, particularly in that first 30, though, was that Ottawa's midfield really had control of ours. They were able to pressure us when we had the ball and wouldn't let us get through their midfield very easily. And at the same time, when they had the ball, they were able to push forward pretty easily through our midfield. So not the greatest, midfield didn't match up as great against theirs as we would like, but what was good to see is that our defense, for the most part, held really strong. And that's something, especially when you look at, the fact that these aren't guys who've played together regularly or sometimes at all up until today. It's expected that there's not going to be a lot of cohesion. And one thing I think I have to say in particular that really impressed me was that especially for the first 30 minutes or so, the defense looked really confident. They looked like they trusted each other. They were all on the same page. It looked really good. And, I think that's a lot of things. I think it has to do with, having quality defenders back there. But I also think it may have something to do with, a trust in the keeper. Now, we've had good keepers in the past, so it's not like we haven't had quality keepers, but maybe there's something of a leadership quality we're getting more now. Or it could be a trust in the system as a whole, that these guys know that they can trust what's going to happen in front of them as well as behind them. And so they can play with a little more confidence. They certainly seem, they look to be passing it out of the back, which is great when it works. Not so great when you give it away. And we'll come to that in a few minutes. But the good thing was when Ottawa pressured them as they tried to pass it out from the back, which is what you should do. If the team wants to pass it out from the back, you pressure them, try and make them make mistakes. And for the most part, we didn't. We didn't make any real mistakes. We were composed on the ball. The defenders were composed in defense, which is the main thing you want. But then also when they had the ball, they looked calm. They were just going to pass it around, get through the Ottawa's press, and it worked pretty well. I wasn't real concerned about that, to be honest. So the defense, I think, at least our starting defense, is something we can be pretty confident about. Now, excuse me, trying to see here. Okay. It's the other side of the ball that I think I've been excited to see under Preki is the more attacking style that he has promised and that we all wanted for the last couple of years and we weren't getting. So we want to see us going towards the goal a lot more. Now, we didn't get today. We didn't get this constant attack, all out, constantly forward sort of mindset that you might think that an attacking team would be looking to do. But what we did get was a team that counterattacked with purpose. And this is the thing. I mean, last year, I don't know how many times this happened, and it drove me insane that a guy would get a ball in a position to go forward with it, and it'd stop and let his teammates catch up, presumably. But what, of course, he was doing also was letting the defense get in position. And there's so many times you just want to be like, dude, just turn and go towards the goal. Force the defense to do something. And then if you get down and there's nothing there, then you can turn it around and pass it back and try and create something else. But push the defense. Push them. It's a thing, honestly, playing high school basketball, we did that. You get the ball, push it to the other end of the court as fast as you can, And then if you get down there, you don't have numbers, then just bring it back out to the top of the key and set it up for run your offense. And I think that's never what we did last year. It was always, we need to run our offense. Take your time, get everybody in position, go through it. And teams at this level are not going to be beat that way very often. But what we saw today was something different. When they got the ball, there were guys just running forward, just sprinting, going all out to get to the other end of the field as quickly as possible. And that's how you're going to beat teams. That's how you're going to catch teams. And I think that's the offense we're really going to see from Preki. We're not going to see this consistent pressure around their third of the field all game. I think we're going to see a lot of play probably in the midfield and some in our own end. But when we get the ball, when we go on attack, it's on attack. It's not a half-hearted kind of dribble forward and knock the ball around and maybe we'll attack something. It's going to be a really concerted effort, a lot of pressure put into that attack. And, one thing we saw was, a great, Seth Rudolph had a great run and he got tripped up and, earned himself a red card and a free kick right outside the box. I mean, that's, in this game, they let the player be substituted. But obviously, regular season game, I mean, that's a huge, huge advantage that we need to be able to take it, to utilize. And this type of offense is going to provide more of that sort of opportunity. So it's something I'm excited. Like I preached this probably ad nauseum last year that I don't need my team to have the ball for 60% of the time. I don't need them to be passing their way through the other team's defense. I just want when they attack. They don't passively try and get it towards the goal, that it's an attack. It's a real attempt to move the ball forward. So the let's see, the next thing we got here. When we attack. Next thing that was just kind of interesting to note, one of the things they mentioned a lot was the video replay. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of actual replays in this game. I think we got the goals, and that's probably about it. I would have loved to see a replay on the red card that Seth earned and Tyler David's shot because, unfortunately, like a lot of especially preseason, I can't really dedicate time to sit and watch the game and tell the kids to go be quiet. So I'm dealing with kids while I'm watching the game. And sure enough, one of them, wanted me to play something. And next thing I know, I'm seeing Facebook light up about Tyler David's shot. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see that, and they didn't get a replay of it. But it'd be interesting to see how video replays would have affected a few of the calls in today's game. Overall, actually, the ref seemed fine. It's always a little different in a preseason. For one, you're not expecting a whole lot from the refs even. But usually the games don't get real chippy. The players are just trying to get in shape. So that could be a very interesting wrinkle on some decisions for sure in other games, more meaningful and more intense games like Louisville. Now the one bet that it's obviously we lost 2-1. The second goal, I'm not really going to talk about. It was a great shot. We didn't give their guy a lot of space, and he just ripped one. And honestly, sometimes those are just going to happen. You try to minimize them, but they're just going to happen sometimes. And if they happen too much, then you got a problem. If they're happening every once in a while, it just happens. But the first goal is the one that is a little troubling. And I don't know about anybody else, but for me, when I saw that, I got this really sinking feeling that was very similar to what I felt a lot last year, where it's, hey, we're actually we're playing well, defense is playing well, and then we pushed forward a little bit, and then all of a sudden there's that one mistake, that one defensive, it's a lapse, a ball given up, bad attempted tackle, whatever it is. And the next thing you know, the defense or the offense is through the clear shot on goal. And that's exactly what we saw. And we gave the ball away with no defensive cover whatsoever. And I've been trying to look up actually, and if anybody's here to, let me know who that was, because I couldn't hear the announcers watching the kids while I was playing. So I'm not sure who the player was, but I know he made the mistake, but then thankfully, great job. He made the hustle to get back in time to save the initial shot. So that in that situation, that is what you ask for. You ask, hey, you made the mistake, get back and do what you can do from there. Now, as great as that blocked shot was, that doesn't make up for the mistake in the first place. So, we'll applaud effort, we'll applaud hustle for sure, but it doesn't excuse the mistake. Now, mistakes like that are going to happen. They're kind of like the great shot at the other end. They're just going to happen sometimes, and you can't beat yourself up over them. The question is, how often are they happening? Now, last season before, we were seeing those at least once or twice a game that were leading to goals. And that's too much. They're going to happen every once in a while. They'll maybe even happen once a game, but they can't always lead to goals. And that's exactly what was going on before, is we made a mistake, and then it was almost a guarantee there was going to be a goal following that. So that's hopefully what we can cut back on is the amount that those get turned into goals. I hope it's not a repeat of what we've seen with defensive problems in the past. But again, this was not, this wasn't at that point, we didn't have a first choice defense in there. So it's harsh to beat up on that too much. But I'm not gonna lie, it is one of those things a little frightening, because that is exactly what we saw so much last year and drove me so crazy last year. But at least even if we have to deal with that again, at least going the other way, when we get the ball, we're going to attack. And that's something I really like to see. Only got a couple minutes left here. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. Talk a little bit about the signings. A lot of these guys I don't know much about. I know it sounds like a lot of people are excited about Ledbetter kid coming from SIU. Heard a lot of good things about him, and could be a good addition to the team. I like, though, that a lot of the other guys we're getting also have, we're not getting a bunch of just college guys. We're getting guys who have professional experience, who know what it's like to play at a professional level. And because it doesn't matter how good you are in college, it's a different game. It's a different level of intensity. It's a different demand on the season on you. So, it's good to have those young guys coming through, whether it's through an academy system, which is the ideal, that we're bringing them through our own academy system. But whether it's through that or through local colleges or whatever, and they're building kind of the next generation of players, it's great. But we've got to have those experienced professionals in there, which I think we maybe lacked a little bit too much at times in the past. And that's certainly what we're getting now. We're getting guys who have professional experience along with, the younger talent. So I'm excited. I hope these guys pan out. I will say, we signed Preki's son. It's always it does scare me when we sign, whenever a coach brings his son on board. You wonder how much of that is just nepotism, or how much they really believe this kid can play, or sometimes it's it can have an advantage of here you've got someone who's going to understand you and understand what you're trying to do with the team and maybe can help communicate that to the other players. But you also do run the risk of having a player who's got this weird relationship with the other players and the coaching staff and everyone else. So hopefully he is absolutely, talented enough to be playing at this level. And I trust Preki. I don't, but it is always one of those things, gives me a little bit of pause. But, I said same thing when Bob Bradley was with the U.S. team. And, here he brings his son, and he's one of the best players we've had in a long time. And Michael is just, almost kind of overshown his father in that area. That his dad came and went. Michael's still here. He's still playing at a high level. So it certainly could be, absolutely the right fit. But who knows how much we're even going to see him. Other than that, not a lot to say about the players yet. It's still a lot of waiting and seeing what they're going to be like. Wait to see if we have any comments. No. I'm guessing everybody already went to bed tonight. That's what I should have been doing. But so we're going to go and wrap it up now. But like I said before, if you're interested in being part of this, whatever it is you want to do, if you want to be on camera, if you want to be behind the camera, editing videos, doing social media stuff, there's lots of stuff I'd like to try and do this season. But I'm only going to do what's capable of being done well. So, I'm not going to go out and do all kinds of crazy stuff and not be able to keep up with it or let it turn into something awful. So if you want, kind of one of those great things, if you want more stuff, if you want more content and things, then you can help make it. So if you are interested, please just, you can send me an email or hit me up on Facebook. Email is still historyandblood@gmail.com. I might get the STL FC Fan TV one as well. Just haven't gotten around to that yet. Same thing on Twitter. It's still History and Blood. Facebook, it is STL FC Fan TV. But I will be trying to consolidate all those, get them all under the same name, making it a little bit easier. But any one of those, send me a message, send me an email, tweet, comment here, whatever it is you want to do. And if you want to be a part of it, great. We'll figure out something fun to do. And other than that, not sure when we're going to do the next broadcast. Until the season actually kicks off, we're not going to be doing them super regularly, but kind of when we have either new things to talk about or I have new technical things I need to try out, we'll give it a shot. So definitely nothing else. Looking forward to that March 25th in Louisville. I actually get to go to this one. First chance for me to go to an away game. And we'll be rolling in deep to Louisville. So that will be a fun sight to see. So until then,